Welcome to the Westcott Crochet channel and welcome to the Coral Tea. If you like the look of this one, do let me know by tapping the thumbs up button. If you want to see more projects, I do need you to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Any yarn recommending a 4mm hook will create a similar result. I used a 5mm and a 2.5mm. I also used a tape measure, stitch markers and a yarn needle to weave in my ends. I'm going to start today with a 5mm hook and a chain that goes halfway around the widest part of my upper body. So I measure around the widest part, divide that by 2. I need to be able to divide my chain into 3 and I need to end on an uneven number. If I want to have a bit of a looser fit, I just add an extra couple of centimetres onto my half measurement. I'm going to chain 51. I have my 51 chains. It's divisible by 3 and it's an uneven number. Next, I can either chain an extra 2 and start with a double crochet into the 4th loop from my hook, the 4th chain, or I can do a standing double crochet into this very first stitch. To do that, I pull out my yarn a little bit. From a start chain, I need to just take a little twist, because normally you come in from the end of a row and it twists naturally as you turn into the next row. So just give a little twist, wrap the loop around your hook, hold on to it. I'm just going to flip my chain over and work the back bump. So in through there, pull down a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, I can let go now, yarn over, pull through 2. And then I put my second double crochet into the next back loop along. So either chain 2 and start from the 4th chain with a double crochet. The first 3 chains makes up your first double, or do a standing double. And then your next one goes into your next chain. So 3rd double crochet. Next I'm going to chain 3. I'm going to skip 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, into the 4th with a double crochet. Into the next 2, same thing, double crochet. And I'll chain 3. Skip 3 chains and 3 double crochets. That's what I'm going to do for this entire first row. So chain 3, skip 3, 3 double crochets all the way along. I'm at the end of that row and I'm just going to pull up a big loop. If you can hear screeching and weird noises in the background, I have a little bird visitor who's shouting down my chimney. I can't seem to make him stop, so sorry if you can hear that. I hope you can still hear me. Okay, it's a little off-putting, but we'll try. So I take a second colour. I'm going to go right back to the other end of the row I've just finished, into that first stitch that I made, the first double crochet. I'm going to insert my hook into the top of that stitch. I'm going to put on a slip knot in my secondary colour, pull it through and chain 1. And then I'm going to single crochet on top of the next 2 double crochets. So that's 3. Next, I'm going to double crochet into these 3 chains that I missed from the first row. So yarn over, pick up my loop, and then through the other side of the chain. I bring my yarn back through and incorporate that chain into my double crochet. So again, into the loop, out through the back, pull it back through and finish my stitch. Third one, in through the loop, out the back, pull the yarn back through to the front and finish the stitch. And that's 3. Then I'm going to single crochet across the next 3. And then again, 3 doubles incorporating the chain from the previous row. Just making sure not to pull my double crochets too tightly that it then clamps the chain right to the very bottom. So just a nice even tension. As you can see, it's pulled the loop a little bit, but it will settle back down again. So 3 single crochets at the top of the doubles, then 3 doubles, 3 singles, 3 doubles, 3 singles, all the way along. At the end of row 2, this is what we have. I think the bird is done with me now. He seems to have taken off. I'm just going to pull up a loop of my secondary colour, just so I don't lose the stitches, and back to my primary colour. Pop that one back on and tighten that up. So I'm going to go back, starting with a standing double. I don't chain one or anything at the end, I literally just stop and go on to the second colour. So standing double, I've already twisted because I've changed direction, so I don't need to do that this time. So wrap around my hook, in through the stitch, pull through a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, or chain 3. Next double into the next stitch, into the next one, and then I'm back to chain 3, skip 3, 3 doubles, and that's row 3. At the end of row 3, this is what I have. I also have the bird back, shouting away. I hope you can hear this because he's crazy. Potentially he's telling me that I'm Princess Leia's only hope, but she'll be fine. I'll check on her in a minute. Seriously, it sounds like R2-D2. It's very weird. Okay, anyway, trying to move on. Back on with my secondary colour. Tighten the loop. I'm going to chain 3 to build up my yarn. And I'm going to put my first single crochet in top of that first stitch. And then 2 more, top of the next 2, and that's how that looks. This will be incorporated into the side seam, so no need to worry about how that looks. Next, into the stitch below, incorporating my chain for a double. Three of those. So it's the same as the previous row we did down here with the secondary colour. Single crochet on top of the next 3 doubles, and then doubles on top of the next 3 stitches. Singles, doubles, singles, doubles, all the way along. That's 4 rows now. Back to the primary colour, where I would start with a standing double and do my 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles, chain 3, 3 doubles. I should have mentioned, and I will put a note on the screen, if you're opting for the chain 3 start, you do first off need to slip stitch into that first stitch of the row. So slip stitch into there, in through the stitch, pull through everything to get yourself into position, and then chain 3, and then you've got your double crochet and the second one. But if you're going for the standing double, just straight away without slip stitching. So I'm going to keep doing these 2 rows now until I get to my underarm point. I'm going to put a bottom band on here as well, so I need to take that into account. I'll let you know how many rows I've done when I come back. Okay, I've worked 24 rows for my first section that goes to my underarm. I'm going to take both collars now, both loops, pop them onto my hook and tighten that up. Then I'll go yarn over with both, pull through, pull it tight and cut my yarns. I'm actually going to leave a long tail to seam up the side. I've just finished the secondary colour row, so I'm on to my primary colour. Make a slip knot. And I'm going to join 7 stitches in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 into the 7th stitch. On with my yarn, pull it through, chain 1. And I'm going to carry on as normal from this point. So for me, I'm going to do a standing double, or you can chain 3. And then I carry on with the pattern. So 3 doubles, chain 3, miss 3 stitches, 3 doubles. And similarly, I'll join my white yarn at the same point here, just on top of this stitch, my secondary colour. I'll single crochet along, just as I did when I started way back at the bottom. Work my 3 stitches, single crochet, work my 3 stitches. And I will stop and leave these 6 stitches at the end unworked to match what I've done over here. That's the first row again in the secondary colour. Pull up a big old loop. I've inserted my hook into the very first stitch from that last row, sorry. On with the secondary colour, pull it through and chain 1. And then I'm going to just single crochet for the next 2 and then go with my doubles. So I'm going to repeat these 2 rows now until I get to the point where I want my collar to start. I'm not sure where that's going to be yet, because I'll let you know in a minute. It just worked 12 rows on this next section, and then added another 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 rows, just stopping here, 9 stitches in and going back and forth for the 9 stitches. And I finished up with a row of single crochet in my primary colour, just along the top there. So I'm going to cut yarns here, both of them, and I'm going to reattach my primary colour over in the 9th stitch here and work the same to match this side. here at stitch number 9, pop on my slip knot. I do have to go in this direction from the inside out because I'm following the same direction with the stitch the whole time. So I'm always working in this direction for the primary colour and in this direction for the secondary colour to keep the pattern the same. So pull that through in the 9th stitch, chain 1 just to secure that. And then I start with my standing double into the same stitch. And then the second one, and the third one, chain 3, and make 3 more into the last 3 stitches. Pull up my loop, and I attach my secondary colour into the top of this stitch. So on that goes, pull it through, and I'm just going to chain 1 for the first stitch there, 2 more single crochet in with the double around the chain, getting all of my tail ends caught up. And then the 3 singles, just move that to one side. And into the last one. And then I just turn around and come back and forth for my, I think it was 8 rows. Finishing then with my single crochet row in the primary colour just along the top. That's it for the front panel for now. Got the 2 top sections edged in the primary colour, single crochet row, and I've chained 1 to secure my work and cut my yarn. Got various yarn ends all over the place. So back panel, it's made in exactly the same way. Start with the chain, work your rows up to the underarm section, and here, instead of splitting off into 2, just go straight across the whole way for the same height as I worked for the front. Now I just need to join the panels. I've lined my panels up so that the side that I want to face outwards is facing inwards, so they're touching each other on the inside. And I'm going to start with the shoulders. I have my 9 stitches on this top of the front panel, and I'll be joining that to 9 stitches along the back, starting from the edge. So I insert my hook in through the first stitch on the back, first stitch on the front, put on a slip knot, pull it through, pull it tight, okay, and chain 1 to secure that. Alright, into the same stitch I'm going to make a single crochet, or same stitches, because there's 1 on either side. Into the next 2 stitches on both sides, single crochet. I'm going to do that all the way along my 9 stitches. So just single crocheting them together, matching stitch to stitch. And that's the last one. where I chain one, cut my yarn and pull it through. And that's the seam. Onto the side seam. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to work around these chain 3s from the secondary colour, and I'm going to be seaming together only on these double crochets in the primary colour. So I'll skip over that and seam up this with this on the other side. So I left a long tail to seam up the side. If you haven't, then just grab a slip knot and pop that on. So in through, whoops, the very top of the side stitch, I'm going to pull through and chain one. I'm going to aim for 2 stitches into every double crochet and just grab both on both sides and just single crochet. So in through this one on this side, same on the other side, and single crochet. And then here I have the chain to work around, so I'm just going to go ignore that, in through the same stitch on the other side, single crochet, another one for that stitch, again on the other side, and I'm going to do that the whole way down to seam up this side section. That's the finished side seam on the inside, and here it is on the outside. So I've worked all 4 seams now, the 2 shoulders, the 2 sides, and I have this. Now I need to go away and work out what I'm going to do for a sleeve. I'll come back and let you know. There's my sleeve all worked out. I'll show you what I did when I worked the same sleeve on this side. I'm joining my yarn right up at the centre seam at the bottom of the armhole. Pull through a slip knot and chain one. I'm going to be working back into that chain one when I've gone all the way around. So I'm going to go all the way around with a single crochet row. I'm going to try and weave in my ends as I go, so you don't have to do that. It's just one thing less to do at the end. So I've got 6 stitches. I'm going to work 5 of them. That's 4 and 5. And then if I can see what I'm doing around all of these tail ends, when I get to the double crochets, I'm going to put 2 stitches in each. I'm going to miss the white row completely, so just double crochets up, 2 in each. But for the 6th stitch, which is this far, I'm going to go into there, pull up a loop. I'm going to go once into the double crochet, pull up a loop, second time into the double crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through those 4 loops, and then I'm just two single crochets, into each double, all the way up this side. Missing, working over, should I say, the chain 3 in the secondary colour, the same as I did for the seam. So I'll work all the way around like that, and when I get to this side I will do another decrease. I'll meet you here and I'll do that on camera. So here I'm at the last double crochet before the underarm section to work the second decrease. So into that double crochet, pull up a loop, into it for a second time, pull up a loop, and into the first of my 6 underarm stitches. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through them all. Then I'll work the other 5 stitches and slip stitch into the chain 1. So that's how we look after round 1. I'm going to go around again, just putting 1 stitch in each this time, just all the way around. I'll chain 1 to start and slip stitch into that chain 1 at the end. I've gone 2 times around the arm opening with single crochet, and I've just put in some stitch markers to divvy up my stitches. I've got 6 along the bottom underarm. I've marked the 7th stitch. From that stitch going up to the top I have 20. I've counted 20 back down the other side, and I've got 6 on the other side at the underarm section. I'm going to start the sleeve by chaining 5. And I'm going to swap up my hook to a 2.5 and chain another 5. I'm going to chain an extra 1 to turn, and I'm going to work back down my chain with single crochet. So my first 5, not working into the turn chain, so my first 5 on the smaller hook. So that's 2. For some reason my yarn's gone a bit fuzzy. Not to worry. 3, 4, 5. Swap my hook again. Next 5 in the larger hook. Okay, here at the arm opening, I'm going to slip stitch into the first 2 of my 6 stitches. So that's 1 and 2. Then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to work single crochet back up my 5 larger stitches. So not counting these first 2, they're the slip stitches I just worked. So going into this 3rd stitch and a regular single crochet. So I've got 5 of those. Then I'm going to swap my hook. I'm going to go into the back loop of the small stitches. So top 2 loops here, I'm going to go into the back one only. For these 5. Chain 1, turn around and work back loop for those 5 stitches again. Swap the hook, 5 regular single crochets in the larger hook through both loops, so I do need to twist all the way around. 3, oops, 4, 5. Slip stitch into the next 2 stitches on the arm opening, 1 and 2. I'll turn round and come back and work my 5 in the larger hook through both loops, work my 5 back loops, chain 1, do the same in reverse, and slip stitch twice into these last 2 stitches on the underarm. I'll be back then. Back at the bottom where I've marked the stitch, I'm going to work back up again, 5 stitches, regular single crochet, 5 back loops, turn with this turn chain, 5 back loops, 5 regular stitches, and then on the 5th stitch this time I'm going to add a second stitch, so I'm doubling up, and then I'll slip stitch twice into the base. So I've gone up and down, here's my last stitch, so I put 1 stitch in there and follow up with a second one, and that's what I'm going to do every time I get back to this end before I slip stitch all the way up to the marker at the top of the sleeve, the shoulder. So slip stitch into the next 2, work to the end and back, and when I get back, 2 stitches into the last stitch, then slip stitch and out and back again to the shoulder. That's half a sleeve. I've gone all the way up the front, adding a stitch for the last 20 stitches, slip stitching twice each time, so I've added 10 stitches, and I've got 15 large stitches now, and obviously my 5 remain constant on the smaller stitches. So I'm at my marker at the top. I've just slip stitched into that mark stitch. I'm just going to orientate myself, bear with me. So this time, as I go back down, I'll work all the way down and all the way back, and I will decrease into the last 2 stitches before I slip stitch into the base. I'll just work there and back, and I'll meet you at the other end. Alright, I've now worked both sides of my sleeve. I just need to join up these 2 sides. I just need to turn them inside out. I'm not going to turn the whole thing inside out, just the actual sleeve part. So I'll just pull my yarn through to the inside. And go at it from this side. So hook back in. I'm going to go through the first of my 5 stitches in the larger hook, and then I've got the remaining loop from my start chain over here, so I'm just going to go in on that side as well, and I'm going to slip stitch. Next one, match the other side and slip stitch. So I'll just work my 5. That's 2, 3, 4 and 5. And that's the same for that section. Swap on my hook. And now I'm going to go into the exterior loop from the row I've just finished and the last loop from the start chain and slip stitch the next 5. Chain 1, cut my yarn, all seamed up. Now I've got 2 sleeves, need to work on the collar. To start my collar, I'm going to go in through this bottom corner here, on with my hook, pull the slip knot through, chain 1. I'm going to work my way all the way around with a single crochet row. These are just obviously regular stitches. When I get to the double crochets, 2 in each, ignoring the secondary colour and working around that, as I've done before. I'm going to go all the way across the back, 1 stitch in each, back down the other side, and slip stitch into the chain 1. It's the end of round 1. For round 2, it's not going to go all the way around actually, I'm just going to go up 3 sides. So not the front bit, just up the side, the back, back down the side, smaller hook, 2.5, and I'm going to put 2 stitches in every stitch. And I'll stop when I get around to here. That's all the way around the 3 sides with double stitches in each stitch in the smaller hook. I'm going to chain 1 to turn, and I'm going to work back around those 3 sides, just 1 stitch in each. Back round here. So that's row 2 on the collar. I'm next going to go back in the other direction, and I'm going to keep doing that, working round and round and round till I get the length that I want. And each time I set off, so the next stitch, I'm going to put 2 in the first stitch, and then I'll work around, then I'll turn and put 2, work around, turn and put 2, work around, until I get the length that I want for the collar. That's my collar after 13 rows around the 3 sides, and I've chained 1 and cut my yarn. At this point you've actually got a nice little crop top. I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to put a bottom band on. I'm going to start by working a row of single crochet all the way around the bottom edge. Just attaching my yarn back to my 5mm hook. I'm attaching in the back at the bottom. Chain it 1 and just work all the way around this bottom edge with single crochet, 1 stitch in each, and I'll slip stitch into the chain 1. I've worked all the way around the bottom, slip stitched into the chain 1 space, and I've chained 31. That's going to be the length of my bottom band. Well, the 30 is, the 1 is the extra one to turn. So I'm not going to work into that turn chain. I'm starting from the second chain from my hook, and I'm going to work back down the chain. And this bottom band is worked in much the same way as the sleeve, except it's a lot longer, and I'm just using the 1 hook size the whole way down the length. of the section. So when I get to the bottom, I'll slip stitch twice into the base. I'll work back up into the back loop only, back down into the back loop only, slip stitch twice into the base, and I'm just going to keep doing that the whole way around. I'll go right around and come back to here, and then I just need to join the two sides. After many rows of back loop single crochet, working up and down, I've gone all the way around now, the base. I just need to join these two sides. I'm not going to turn the whole thing inside out just to work the seam. I'm just going to turn these two edges so that they're facing inside out. The rest, oops, sorry, the rest can stay as it is. So I just need to pop back my hook and take off the slack. I have the row that I've just worked nearest to me, and this row is the start chain row. I'm going to go into the first stitch on the row I've just worked on the inside stitch, so the back loop, sorry, the inside loop. So yes, the back loop on there, and then the remaining loop from the start chain on the other side, and then yarn over and slip stitch through everything. Inside loop, start chain loop, and slip stitch. So I'm going to do that all the way down for my 30 stitches, matching stitch to stitch on both sides. When I get to the end, I can chain one to secure my work and cut my yarn. That's it for the seam. Just got to weave in all of my ends and I'm done. If you do all of that, you'll have something like this. I hope you enjoyed this video. Do please subscribe to support the channel. A huge thank you to those who already have, and to everyone, thank you for watching today.